Hi everyone, it's Marie here. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing good as we come through May and our country slowly but surely starts to open up. Everybody that I've been speaking to at the practice is excited about that prospect. So today I wanted to share a real quick home exercise for you. As I've continued to see people through these past months and support people who are working in a home environment, but not just those of us who are working at home. This relates to most of us now in today's world. And it follows on from some conversations I've had specifically with people at the practice. But it serves all of us who are sitting for prolonged periods of time. So whether that's through your work or just being at home, life is very different. And we know through all the stats and the research that's been done in these past times and even before that we sit for way too long. We're not designed to be sitting as much as we are in today's lifestyle. So I wanted to address something called hip flexors. So when our posture changes from too much sitting, generally our head comes forward off the spine. And in a response to that, as well as sitting, our flexors on our hips get tight. So the hip flexors down here at the front of our body, just here, they start to tighten up. And we all know a tight muscle is a weak muscle. So for us to start stretching a tight muscle directly just further weakens it. So I wanted to give you a tip today on how you can actually begin to stretch a tight muscle and what we need to do before we drop into the stretch. This is really useful for helping you support upright posture, but also for those of us who are sitting for prolonged periods and our hips are constantly flexed. So I'm going to take you through the stages here, and it looks like this. So we're going to start off. You need something to support yourself because you're going to have one leg off the ground essentially. And I'm going to demonstrate on the right hand side here. So we're going to bring our hip up to 90 degrees, just like that. And we're going to do 5 hip flexors. So we're going to start here and drop the leg down to the floor, back up, back down, up, down, up and down, and one more time, up and down. Then we're going to keep the leg in flexion here, and we're going to do 5 kicks forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and still keeping the hip in flexion the same side. We're going to then come into 5 pulses. So we're going to bring it up like that into a pulsing format, and you'll feel that this might even burn now through the hip here. And we're fatiguing it out, because once it's fatigued, then we're going to get it to relax so that we can then drop down into the low hip flexor stretch. So you won't be able to see here, but I've got my opposite leg front, and you're opening up the hip then and just dropping down as far as you can to open the hip. And then you'd hold that for about 20 seconds. And then you'd repeat all of that on the opposite side. So that's a really great exercise. Prior to stretching a tight hip flexor, you need to do those 3 little points first. They really then help when you drop down into the hip flexor stretch that opens it out. The muscle will actually stretch, and it's fatigued, so it's going to do that. It's not going to remain tight. So I wanted to give you that little tip. It's been really useful. I've had this conversation with some of you at the practice, so this is something to start to incorporate into your exercise routines. If you're finding the hip flexors are really tight, then you need to start doing that just about 3 times per week, not even on the daily, because you're going to feel the burn with it. So we'd start off with 3 times per week, and then once you become familiar with that over a matter of weeks, you can then start to do it on the daily. I hope that's been useful for you. If you have any specific questions or queries, you can reach out to me here on the email, and we'll be back in touch with you really soon. Take care.